Well, here we are again. I love this time of the afternoon because I get to share the screen with people who are doing really good stuff and they get the stage to share it at will, which is really fantastic. Today's extra special because I have a dear friend of mine, Rick Egitto, who is with a company called Avison Young. And we were just talking before we got on that we're both from Hollywood, Florida, hence why the two of us look so
So
great.
good.
I welcome, I welcome my friend Rick Egitto. Tell me something good, brother.
Well, thank you for that introduction. First of all, Steve, I appreciate you think we look good. Second of all, I'll tell you something good. Denver sports teams are on fire. The Nuggets,
How about that, man?
the Avalanche, the Rockies, and the Broncos are all ready to just kick some ass this year. So we'll see what happens if they get through the seasons, but right now that's all good here. Secondly, as you know, I live in just south of Denver, Colorado, in Castle Rock, and living in Colorado is a great place to be during this pandemic. We've really done a good job through the navigation of this whole thing, and where we live is not only beautiful but really easy to get through. We've not had a significant amount of cases like Florida, so I got a couple of really good things going on right there.
I think you hit it on the head. I got to watch Denver, the Denver basketball team play the other day, and they are stacked with talent, man. I hadn't, I hadn't kept up with it as many haven't. And then you get a look at that team, and I don't know where, like all of a sudden, all of these great people came together to play in Denver. It must be because living there is so good.
Well, I think so. And this kid, Michael Porter Jr., who,
Yeah.
he all of a sudden could jump right in and make the team change. And we expect to be competitive for the next few years, which we haven't been in 20 years. So awesome for Denver on the Nugget side. And the Avalanche is probably stacked as well. So if you're a hockey fan, that's also a good one.
What's interesting, you bring up Michael Porter. I mean, you talk about something good. That's a guy who was, clearly a number one pick, but broke his back.
Right.
And you talk about literally broke your back and rehabbed and whatever. So he's a find. I think the other night he scored 37 points, 15 rebounds. I mean, he's going to be, and there's not a lot of people who know who he is. So I think that's going to be really special. Good job.
Well, he just followed it up again last night with another big game, but he puts in the work. You put in the work and you get the reward. So kind of ties back to what you're telling everybody.
So that's a great segue. So for the sake of my audience, which they don't know you as well as I do, obviously,
Sure.
share as much as you want from your journey. Obviously we went to high school together. I knew you then as a hard worker, basketball, all the things you've done. But give people a sense of what you've done and how you landed working with one of the premier real estate companies in the world.
Thanks, Steve. After high school, I got to go to Florida State University, studied real estate and insurance, and ended up taking a job. I was fortunate enough to get a job offer in Denver, Colorado, to work for Metropolitan Life Insurance Company and their real estate investment group. So couldn't have been more perfect to my.
Just to interrupt you for a quick second, I didn't even know that life insurance have a real estate division. I mean, that's an education in and of itself.
Well, I didn't know that at the time either. So I came back and told my professors, and they were like, "This is the best thing that could happen to you." So
Wow.
they were one of the largest investors in real estate. Today, mostly make loans. But I started in Denver in 1981, was there for 5 years, moved back to South Florida with a variety of commercial real estate companies through the 90s, and then married a Colorado girl in Florida named Cindy. And we decided to come to Denver in 2001 to work for a small private company, and have been here ever since and been very fortunate to be here. 4 years ago, I joined Avison Young. We are the sixth largest commercial real estate firm in the United States, but we're a worldwide company with over 5,000 employees all through Europe, Mexico, Canada, even in South Korea, but largely known in the United States. We've only been here for 10 years. And what I like about it is it's a full service commercial real estate company run by the principals. It's not a company that reports to Wall Street. It is run by the employees that have significant experience, one of which is me. But there's a number of really bright guys throughout the United States and gals. And we run the company and make decisions with our leadership board. And that's very unique in the real estate business. And I think one that a lot of people are attracted to. So we've been recruiting a lot of talent. We're one of the fastest growing commercial real estate firms in the United States. And we have offices all over the United States, except in Portland and Seattle. Beyond that, down in South Florida, they're extremely well known. We got a great team in Florida, but here in Colorado, we're in the process of growing our team. So I've loved being here for 4 years, and I look forward to the next, 5, 6 years here in Denver.
I experienced that culture firsthand when you had reached out to me a bunch of years ago and said, hey, kind of fill me in on what you're doing and how might that affect my team. So maybe you can share that piece of the journey where you and I hadn't seen each other, but you found me or saw me on social media. And the next thing you know, you guys made a quick decision and I was in Denver eating dinner with you and then working with your team.
Well, listen, we're always trying to make ourselves better if you're in sales, and you always want to stay relevant if you're in sales. And you have so many really cool ideas, and especially on the social media side, where we had a lot of young talent in our office that really wasn't maximizing things like LinkedIn and social media. And I thought that would be a good training because we have a lot of people that train in the commercial real estate space that we can get videos from. But yours was just completely different, and you come at it in a completely different approach. And I love that kind of approach. I like to do it. The tagline for my company is "We're different." So it just seemed to flow through to have you come out and train. And I know a lot of us continue to watch you on social media, all these different programs that you do. And even if we're not in contact all the time, we're learning something from you. So I just say, keep it going. We love it. But it's definitely helped us. And now we're really, as a company, well into the social media mode. A couple of years ago, we bought a company in England, GVA Worldwide, which doubled the size of our firm. And they were so far ahead of us on the social media side that now a lot of those leaders are coming into our company in the United States and really proactively pushing the social media side of the business from a marketing perspective, not only to build the company's brand, but to build our individual team brands. And that's all about what you do, Steve. And it was nice to be out ahead of that.
Awesome. Yeah. And needless to say, I had a blast doing it. It was so much fun. But you bring up so many good points that, one that I want to really focus in on is that, even though I'm not directly in touch with you every day or the group that I worked with, by putting out my content, you do feel like I show up in your world all the time. And that's really one of the key takeaways for everybody. So I'm really glad to hear that is that you just sort of have a way to stay in touch with many people with one click. So, great job. And, certainly appreciated the opportunity because you guys were early in the curve. Now, obviously, with the pandemic, everybody's, forced to live in a virtual world. So talk to the audience, if you will, about what are the challenges that, the pandemic, even though it didn't hit Denver as hard, has hit everybody. And what are you doing to overcome it?
Well, let me just first say that you continue to strike a chord with me because you introduced me to people in Denver through your network, and we are doing business together with some of those people.
Kenny P, baby.
That's awesome. The pandemic is going to hurt commercial real estate short term. All of us real estate brokers that live on commission obviously are taking a hit at the moment unless you're closing out transactions that happened pre-COVID. There's not a lot of people doing anything. I'm in a 1 million square foot office building today. There may be 200 people in the building, if that. Allows me to get a great parking space, but beyond ghost town, I mean, there's just nobody here. I think in our world, everybody's kind of looking at 2021 and 2022 as to when there'll be really good opportunities to purchase real estate. And I think that's pretty much the general thought process. Owners of real estate remember what their properties were worth 4 months ago, 5 months ago, so they're not ready to sell at a discount. Buyers, on the other hand, are looking for blood in the water. They're not ready to pay those prices. So we're going to have a disconnect for a period of time. There's going to be forbearance, just like for apartment renters that don't have to pay their rent for a couple of months. I think office tenants, restaurant tenants in particular that have gotten slammed, are looking for relief for not just a couple of months, but for closer to a year. I mean, if you can only serve 25 or 50% of your seats, you're really not making money to pay rent. You're just trying to get people through, even with PPP loans. So I think what happens is you don't see a lot of activity until late in the fourth quarter of this year and the next couple of years. And then guys like us get busy working people out of problems, helping buyers buy property at a discount. and 2021 and 2022 are when lenders are going to move to foreclose on buildings, or owners of real estate are going to either refinance or they're going to recapitalize their real estate for the property they want to continue to own, and then maybe pair off 3 or 4 buildings they no longer need, and that's where the buying opportunities will be over the next couple of years.
So I love that answer, because one of the things I've always admired about you is you're very pragmatic. I mean, it is what it is one of my favorite sayings. And so you ride the highs when they're high, you get through the lows when they're low, but you sort of have a really good grasp of what's happening. I spoke to somebody else in the who owns a couple of auto dealers, and he put it in terms of, hey, in January we were selling X amount of cars, everybody was full and they were loving it. He goes, now we're not selling those amount of cars, and those guys are like bitching and moaning. But if I hired new people today, the amount of cars or whatever I'm doing, it's still good. It's not unreal. We were pretty robust in January. So really good perspective. You live with an entrepreneurial mindset. I've always, again, admired that about you. Share the story of what your wife is doing, because she's a great example of pivoting and doing what you love and, living the entrepreneurial dream.
Well, yeah, Cindy is my wife. We've been married almost 25 years. Next year will be 25 years. And she's also an entrepreneur, started as a bartender, got a great personality, and a very perky lady. A couple of years ago, some people had walked by her house and admired a garden in front of our house and asked Cindy if she would help them with their garden. Cindy morphed that business into something larger last year, and this year has doubled the size of her landscaping business to where not only is it in our neighborhood of Castle Pines Village, but throughout the Denver area. And during the pandemic, I got out and helped her dig holes and do the things that needed to be done, because she's such a small little thing. I had to dig the big holes, and I didn't have anything to do. So I helped her for a few days. And we're looking at next year potentially hiring some talent to work with her to assist, as even through today, Steve, she's got so many people asking her to come look at their yard, come look at my condo project. Can you come in and put in some really nice winter interest baskets? And then can you do flowers? There's a TV show on Bravo called Backyard Envy, where these guys landscape New York backyards. I swear to God, Cindy's going to be on that show at some point.
I love it. I love it. And if you need my help, I know some people at Bravo. When we worked with the Housewives of Orange County, I still have some connections there. So I would love to see her on that. And certainly, you're right. Her personality would live in that TV show really, really well.
Oh, she's just doing a great job. I'm so proud of her, and I'm watching her grow a business after 60. And that should just be a lesson that after 60 is a whole nother world, and you do not have to give up and just retire. There's a lot of excitement there, and it keeps your mind active. Her body's in the best shape it's been because she's working all the time, and she's got a great tan. So on top of that, she's got
it's so great. That lesson is the reason why I do the show, is that, if you live in the world of what's possible, every day is you can just live it to the fullest, not because of pandemic or not because of your age or not because of any other preset filter on yourself. So having said all of that, which, you've been an amazing guest, what do you want to leave the audience with? Like, I know how smart you are and, the career you've had in real estate. Why would, or how would somebody reach out to you, and, who should be talking to you?
Well, first of all, I would just say that my biggest belief, and has always been, to have a client-centric approach with people and to have integrity and trustworthiness. And I think that's what's held me through markets up and down for, what is it now, 38 years I've been in the real estate business. If anybody has a commercial real estate need, you can certainly reach out to me, rick.egitto@avisonyoung.com. But our company is all across the United States, and we've got some tremendous people that can help either buy, sell, refinance, recapitalize real estate, anything from small strip centers to restaurants to big office buildings in downtown New York, where our company is especially strong. Anywhere in the United States, we've got the talent to make that work. But anybody that's in the commercial real estate space that's looking for someone to take a client-centric approach that will work with them to come up with a solution that works, not just to sell your building to make a commission, but to come up with a solution that works for the client, that's who we're looking for. The company's name is Avison Young, Avison Young, and it's a great little firm that's on its way up, just the way Noodleberg is doing here with.
Just love it, man. It has been a real pleasure to spend time with you. That's the power of the internet, man. We get to do this. We get to visit. I get to share our relationship with my audience, which I love. You know, if you need me, you know where to find me. And hopefully soon we get back to somewhat normalcy, because I'm coming out there. I got a bunch of people in Denver that I want to come see, and you're top of that list.
Perfect. Look forward to it, and we'll have dinner again.
Please give your lady a big hug and kiss, and stay on the ball.
All right, Steve-O. See you. Bye.